Hello there, fellow Monster Madness ghouls and goblins. You're currently hearing the voice of a girl with no name, and it's here with very, very clear intentions to sound the alarm. Before you listen any further, beware that frightful spoilers and deliciously explicit language lie ahead. For once you find yourself in the midst of those telltale bumps in the night and the haunting howls of host laughter and cinematic judgment, there is no turning back. Choose wisely.
What about the jack-o'-lantern?
Half's the movie.
What about the rest of my comic books?
Half's the jack-o'-lantern.
What about the boogeyman?
There's no such thing.
Richie said he was coming after me tonight.
You believe everything Richie tells you?
No.
Tommy, Halloween night, it's when people play tricks on each other. It's all make-believe. I think Richie was just trying to scare you.
I saw the boogeyman. I saw him outside.
There was nobody outside.
There was.
What'd he look like?
The boogeyman.
We're not getting anywhere. All right. The boogeyman can only come out on Halloween night, right?
Right.
Well, I'm here tonight. I'm not about to let anything happen to you.
Promise?
Promise.
Can we make the jack-o'-lantern now?
Hello, everyone, and welcome to Monster Madness, a podcast dedicated to all sorts of creature features and beyond. My name is Erika Gwynn, and I am here to welcome you to the show as always. Join with me are the only two men who I think could actually take down the Shape. We have Daniel Gwynn.
Heidi ho.
And Matt Stein.
Why did you giggle when you said my name? Is this a fucking game?
I giggled at him, hostile bitch.
Oh,
I figured.
it's because I'm funny.
As always, before we get into the episode, we have some info to give to you. You can find Monster Madness on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram, as well as all other obscure social media platforms. There are a few ways you can support our show if you feel so inclined. For the cost of nothing except a few minutes of your time, you can head on over to Apple Podcasts and give the show a rating and review. That helps other people find the show, and it is greatly appreciated by us, of course. You can also buy merch on tpublic.com or become a Patreon for as little as $1 a month. So I'm bursting with excitement to get this episode started because we are finally talking the incredible and groundbreaking 1978 film John Carpenter and Debra Hill's Halloween.
You must think me a very sinister doctor. Oh, I do have a permit.
Seems to me you're just plain scared.
Yes. Yeah, I am. I met him 15 years ago. I was told there was nothing left. No reason, no conscience, no understanding, and even the most rudimentary sense of life or death, of good or evil, right or wrong. I met this 6-year-old child with this blank, pale, emotionless face and the blackest eyes, the devil's eyes. I spent 8 years trying to reach him, and then another 7 trying to keep him locked up because I realized that what was living behind that boy's eyes was purely and simply evil.
This film was released on October 27th, 1978, and it has a runtime of 91 minutes, or 101 minutes if you're a fan of the TV edit with an added scene, and Halloween falls in this genre of horror and thriller.
I actually never knew that there was an added scene for the TV version.
Yeah, so and we'll get into this a little bit because I have questions for you both, but so you have the standard theatrical release, which is what we all watched, and then there's the TV edit after Halloween 2 came out and they made Michael Myers her brother. They added scenes of Loomis with young Michael, which was actually a cool...
Might not be able to still show those. Get it?
It's actually scenes that I wish they would keep in because they don't really pertain to them being siblings. It's just added dialogue between Michael and, well, it's just Loomis talking to Michael as he stares out of a window. And then you see Michael's hospital room after he breaks out and he has scrawled sister on his hospital door after he broke out of it. I think there's a couple other things, but those are the ones that I remember the most. Oh, and there's a couple minutes of a hearing where they say that they're releasing Michael into a lower security facility, and Loomis is really fighting it. And then it goes into Loomis driving up to the hospital later to pick him up to take him to somewhere else.
So, and I don't know if you want to wait till we get to that part of the movie, but how do you feel about the fact that they added a plot line to the second one and then forced it into the original?
I mean, seeing as when I saw the original, I was always under the impression, because like the first version of this movie I saw was the TV edit.
Oh, okay.
So I always thought, because this was the first horror movie I ever saw with my dad. They played it on AMC. So it was it was edited for TV. So like, you know, the boobs weren't in it. The random curses weren't in it if there was only a few, and there really wasn't a lot of blood, so they didn't really have to edit too much out of it. But I literally think they only edited out Linda's boobs. But yeah, it was the first one I watched, and I remember being like, oh, that's, you know, her brother's trying to kill her type deal. So I never knew beyond that, like, until I started learning about the history of this film, how John Carpenter basically just got drunk with like a 6-pack of beer and typewritten this out and was just like, it's his sister. So in this movie, just to get back on Trink, it stars Donald Pleasance, Jamie Lee Curtis, Nancy Kyes, PJ Soles, Charles Cyphers, Kyle Richards, Brian Andrews, John Michael Graham, Nancy Stevens, and honorable mention, the multiple men that played the Shape / Michael Myers. We have William Sandin, Tony Moran, and Nick Castle. This film was directed by John Carpenter, and it was also written by John Carpenter and Debra Hill. Now, I think Matt might have mildly rolled his eyes at me when I introed this movie, because I said it's John Carpenter and Debra Hill's Halloween. I think she gets shortchanged, man.
No, if I rolled my eyes, it was not on purpose. I think it was the point that I realized that I've crushed 2 sizable beers in like 20 minutes.
Okay. I take back my eye roll then.
No, yeah, it really, really wasn't on purpose. But
Is she famous for anything else?
Debra Hill?
Yeah.
She was like a writer-producer on movies. Like, she wasn't a big time name. I think this was like her big claim to
She's
fame.
never done like solo stuff?
I don't know a lot of her history, which it makes me very ignorant.
Why
But
don't you know?
I just know that when it came to this movie, John Carpenter did everything in regards to like the male dialogue and obviously the music with all that jazz. And she literally did all the female dialogue, which is a majority of the movie. So I think it's like a pretty even keel between the two of them. I don't think she gets enough credit. So I'm always snarky and say it's Debra Hill and John Carpenter's Halloween.
And I mean, I don't want to jump the gun, but I believe this is the only movie in which you see his face.
Kind of. So you see his face at the very end of this movie when she pulls his mask off. But in Halloween,
I should say the only like straight on shot full face, not just like a glimpse or in the shadow.
I mean, that's really depends on your opinion. And like, you know, whatever.
That's just like your opinion, man. Sorry.
But I can't remember if it's 4 or 5. I want to say it's 5. That the little girl somehow gets into Michael's lair because after he gets, you know, shot up like Swiss cheese in one of the storylines, he like falls down a sewer pipe, and then this fisherman mends him back to health, and then he lives in the little house, and then he kills the fisherman, yada yada yada. Somehow the little girl gets into his lair and he has his mask off, and she says like Uncle Michael to him, which we'll get into that eventually.
Daddy issues.
In 6, he fucks her, but we're gonna.
Oh,
What? I don't remember that.
Yeah, 6 is a weird one that nobody talks about. But
I gotta watch 6
on replay, they don't show it. Just FYI.
I'm sure it's insinuated.
Yeah, because she has his baby. But whatchamacallit? Yeah, and she goes to like touch his hand or reach out to him, I forget, and he freaks out and like rips his mask back on. He's back to being evil Michael again, and you see his face for a hot second. But the most direct is Tony Moran's face at the end of this film. So yeah, like I said, directed by John Carpenter and written by John Carpenter and Debra Hill. Some taglines. The trick was to stay alive. The night he came home. He's come back. He came home for Halloween. Everyone is entitled to one good scare. Trick or treat or die. Let's celebrate the horror. Happy Halloween. Or finally, the trick is to stay alive! ! The first one was just a period, so there was no excitement whatsoever.
Those were some good ones.
They weren't horrible. I do like The Night He Came Home.
I still don't. I like the Trick or Treat one. I don't think that was needed.
Trick or Treat or Die?
Yeah, because like I don't think any trick or treaters died.
No, but I think it's more just the fact that it's supposed to be very on the nose that it's a scary movie.
I mean, Michael Myers was a trick-or-treater that did kill his sister. So
The worst part about this is when you said, like, what was it? The trick is something. And I wanted to be like, the treat's his dick.
the trick is to stay alive.
Yeah, and the treat's his dick.
Tell me the budget, Matt.
Budget is estimated between $300,000 and $325,000 with a box office of $660 to $70 million. I know for a very, very long period of time, and it's still maybe to this day, don't come at me, it was the highest grossing independent film of all time.
That is a true fact. I do know that is something that's
Do you know
true.
if it's still true?
I don't know if it's still true.
Okay. So the only, and without you fact checking, the only movie that I can think of that would have done better would have been Paranormal Activity, but I don't think that's actually classified as an independent movie.
I'm gonna tell you, Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon was an independent film.
Yeah.
No.
Oh my fucking god! If I hit one more ad on my phone, I'm gonna throw it across the room.
Well, don't do that, pregnant lady.
Indies at the box office. It says number 10, Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon, $213.5 million worldwide.
Well,
we're not talking about that though. Hold on.
No. I thought, okay.
Hold on. There's the Blair Witch Project that's on there.
Yep.
What else?
Halloween is not even on here. The Passion of the Christ. These are fucking not indie films. The Passion of the Christ is not an indie film. I'm getting mad.
What's the matter? Can I get your ghost, Bob?
So we don't typically note music in this podcast, but when we do, it's important.
Well, not only that, but sorry, like you were saying, John Carpenter has been he toured playing music, and I think he was a musician first.
He still tours.
Does he still tour?
Yeah, I like the way you say tour.
Sorry.
Sorry.
Oh, sorry.
It's like you're almost Canadian.
Oh my god.
Sorry.
I don't think you are.
Mildly. Yeah, no, John Carpenter still tours and does, as of recently as 2018 with his nephew or his godson and his son, they would do the new revamped Halloween theme along with all the other stuff that he's composed, because he's composed a lot of music.
I feel like he just put out a new album.
Probably did.
New mixtape.
So yeah, John Carpenter did the music for this film. Dan, you just asked what inspired him. His dad taught him the timing, and that's what's unique. The ba 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 ba. It's 4/5 time. If I'm
5/4.
5/4 time. God damn it! I knew the musician would.
I was
correct
so
me.
excited because I knew that, and I thought that was going to be a questions of the damn question, so I didn't want to say it.
No, that's why I didn't make it a question, because that's an unfair advantage to you.
Yeah, because for anyone listening, or Dan, or even Eric, like 5/4 time is very difficult to comprehend. I don't even know how to count it. Not saying that I'm like some musical savant, but like I get 6/8 time, I get 3/4, I get 4/4, but 5/4, like I don't know how to count that.
Maybe instead of like chopsticks, his dad was like, "Oh, I'm going to teach you this."
He taught. Well, no, that's basically what happened. He taught him that on the bongos. He taught him that timing on the bongos, and it just kind of stuck with him. So the plot of this film: on October 31st, 1963, on Halloween night, in the small fictional town of Haddonfield, Illinois, 6-year-old Michael Myers inexplicably stabs his older sister Judith to death with a kitchen knife in their home, and is incarcerated at Smith's Grove Sanitarium. 15 years later, on October 30th, 1978, Michael's psychiatrist Dr. Samuel Loomis and his colleague Marion Chambers arrive at the sanitarium to escort Michael to court. Michael escapes by stealing their car and returns to Haddonfield, killing a mechanic for his coveralls, as well as stealing a white mask and knives from a local hardware store. Now, let's talk about the intro scene. quickest sex scene ever? Do you think that Judith and her boy got it on that quickly?
They could have been fooling around beforehand.
Well, he took his shirt off at least, and she was buck-ass naked. Oh, well, she was wearing underwear when she went upstairs, but...
Maybe he's a little...
If you're doing that much...
Stop him and drop him, my boy.
One pump jump,
It's just that is like the epitome of teenage sex right there.
Or your favorite, the turtle?
Matt, have you ever seen the video of a turtle humping a shoe?
Yeah. Yeah, that's what I do too. I'm more like a rabbit. Like, you ever see a rabbit where there's tip over? What? What are we laughing at?
You broke her.
That's fine.
I need a minute. It's just the visuals that you I can't. I can't.
You want to listen to Creed real quick?
With Arms Wide Open. I was earlier, actually, because it played at the end of Halloween H2O.
Oh, okay. Oh, God, it's such a good song.
What is at the end of Halloween H2O? It's, because it's not What If, that's Scream 3.
What's this life for?
There it is. What's this
Yep.
life for? Yep.
Perfect. Like a fucking angel.
Yep. All you gotta do is just throw your voice a little bit. So do you guys remember the first time you saw this movie? Because like I do, because I was very young and my dad was, I remember the argument that ensued. My mom was like, she cannot watch this. And my dad said, it's fine, it's on AMC. And then I did not sleep for about 2 weeks.
I remember it being on TV and being like, you can't watch this, go play. But not really.
Okay. Hey, third member of the podcast.
Did you ask me a question?
I did. Oh my gosh.
Oh my God. I'm sorry. I thought you were only talking. What was it? Can you please repeat the question?
Do you remember the first time you saw this movie?
No, not at all.
For fuck's sake. There was no point asking.
No. Like, hand to God, like, I don't remember the first time I saw this movie.
Did Michael Myers at all ever freak you out?
Nope.
Oh, fucking Captain Steelballs over there.
God, no, it's not that at all. Like, Hellraiser scared the shit out of me when I saw it. So it's not that. I just don't think I saw it until I was old enough to not really be scared by it. So I'm not saying that it wasn't scary. I saw Texas Chainsaw Massacre when I was a senior in high school. So I believe I was out of high school by the time I saw this.
Oh, okay. So
I think the first one that I saw all the way through, like with my parents, was... Is it the third one where the little girl is like a clown?
No, that's the fourth one.
That's the fourth one.
Third one has nothing to do with Michael Myers.
That's it then, the fourth one.
She's so hot.
I know.
The little girl?
Danielle Harris.
Yeah, she's grown up now. Don't worry.
I have a picture signed by her in that closet.
Why is it in the closet?
Get in the closet. Get in the closet.
Because I haven't hung it up yet.
I vaguely remember the shock of realizing that it was a 6-year-old kid stabbing his sister in the titties. That's all. Also, I think this is the first set of boobs I ever saw. Because they don't really show the boobs, so on AMC, they kind of got away with just blurring it out a little bit.
You see a bunch of boobs in this movie.
You see 2 sets of boobs.
If I remember correctly, like, even the tits that you see at the start of the movie, like, it's pretty hard to differentiate a nipple because there's some blood.
Yeah, I think they blurred out. Like, just in general, I think it was kind of blurred out to keep a rating down.
I thought you see 3. I thought you see the sister.
Well, every woman has 2 nipples. So... Sorry.
What?
Anatomy.
With Matt Stein.
I was trying to think of something better to say. Uncle Matt.
Here it is, Uncle Matt.
Tits and shit with Uncle Matt.
Oh my God, you heard a new segment here first. Tits and shit. Oh, I'm so excited to Photoshop that later.
And him in like a little white coat.
This is amazing.
Yeah.
Don't you spit on that new microphone, bitch.
That's why I was...
Yeah.
Fancy. Okay, so at this point, Michael has killed his sister, his parents. That's the only thing that I get they were doing kind of like a slow away pan to kind of shock the audience. I feel like they tried to shock us a little too long because his parents are just staring at their 6-year-old kid with a butcher knife that's covered in blood. And they're just staring
I think you'd be doing the same thing.
No, I'd be like, what the fuck did you do? And then I'm running into the house to figure out what is bloodied.
You're not taking away the knife?
No, yeah, I think that I would leave you to handle that and me to inspect the damage.
Oh.
I leave you to...
You probably think like the dog's dead or something.
I don't think they had a dog.
I know,
Please,
but if it was
they
our
wouldn't allow
house,
a dog
I'm
around
saying
that
if
creepy
this
kid. Do you think he was always creepy, or did he just like snapped?
Definitely.
Do you follow like the Rob Zombie mythology, where it's just like he is always a fucked up kid, beating the shit out of people with sticks, killing animals, serial killer stuff?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so the consensus is Michael Myers, from the get-go, has always been kind of a weird kid
Yep.
that commits muck duck. So, back to the plant. The next day on Halloween, when high school student Laurie Strode drops off a key at the Myers home so her father can sell it, Michael stalks her throughout the day, which she notices. But her friends Annie Brackett and Linda, I did not even know Linda had a last name, Linda Vanderclock, dismiss her concerns. Vanderclock?
That's a last name for you.
She got some Vandercock later.
Oh!
Loomis arrives.
That was actually really good, and I'm really proud of you.
Here, I know.
Vanderclock got Vandercock.
I'm just going to clip myself for this episode. Clip!
Good.
I deserve one. Loomis arrives in Haddonfield in search of Michael and finds Judith's tombstone. That is hard. Judith's. Plural Judith. Judith's. Difficult, all right? Tombstone missing from the local cemetery. He meets with Annie's father, Sheriff Lee Brackett, and they both investigate Michael's house, where Loomis tells Sheriff Brackett of the danger Michael poses. Sheriff Brackett, while doubtful of Michael's danger, patrols the streets while Loomis waits at the house, expecting Michael to return.
Isn't that like a very 70s thing where guys like, this guy is gonna fucking kill everyone, and the cops are just like, you crazy. Now, if I went to the cops, I was like, this guy's gonna fucking kill everyone. They would patrol
Shut the town down.
and be like, you're crazy.
We're gonna hold you.
It's like, why, like, just even though it is a different time, why wouldn't a police officer in a fictional town, presumably a small town, not be like overly concerned that something horrible, like the guy has proof that this motherfucker has escaped from an insane asylum because he literally murdered someone there. Murder. There's been another murder. It's not like they didn't know the history of Michael Myers. It's not like he just randomly picked this town. It was his home. So they should be like, oh fuck, that crazy bastard's coming back? Let's be on deck. But even Loomis is like, no, don't do that because they'll see him on every street corner. That's what you want. You want people to be like on the lookout.
Let's wait and see how this plays out a little bit. Maybe around body count 6, then we'll start to care.
Yeah, that's basically the mindset. Like, let's see some blood first. But whatever. So later that night, Laurie babysits Tommy Doyle. At this point, Michael has stolen a mechanic's jumpsuit after he murdered the mechanic. He has stolen a white mask from a Halloween store and a very large butcher knife, and he has stalked Laurie throughout the day. He's watched her while she has been in class. The bushes. He has followed Laurie, Annie, and
Around
Lynn.
Halloween, you can find me in a bush too.
Bloom. Happy Halloween. So yeah, Michael's been stalking Laurie throughout the whole day. But if you pay attention to, he's also kind of closely watching Annie. Oh, and he also stalks her while she's in her bedroom. So he finds out which house is hers, and he stares at her through her bedroom window.
Then, oh,
I'm not going to derail you. Interrupted cow hoo moo. So later that night, Laurie babysits Tommy Doyle while Annie babysits Lindsay Wallace across the street, unaware that Michael has followed them. When Annie's boyfriend Paul, voiced by John Carpenter, calls her to come and pick him up. She talks... Yep, there you go.
I never realized that was John Carpenter. Sorry.
Yep, I'm just throwing facts. She takes Lindsay over to the Doyle house to spend the night with Laurie and Tommy. It always looked to me like Lindsay did not go trick-or-treating at all. Like, she was just that kid that was just like, no, I'm too old for this shit.
Why?
Because she's not in an outfit at all.
Half the kids in the movie are going trick-or-treating when it's daylight.
That was like the thing. I mean, when I was a kid, there was definitely like groups of kids that went out because their parents were like, we're doing this now.
Gotta do this before dinner.
Basically, so you can eat all your candy and then pass out by 8.
I mean, that'd probably be nice.
It always looked like Lindsay just didn't care. She just wanted to sit at home and get scared and watch horror movies.
What's wrong with that?
Nothing. But it doesn't. She kind of seemed kind of like a loner. But then she got really excited when Annie wanted to get her, Oh yeah, and she was gonna go hang out with Tommy Doyle because it seemed like every kid knew each other. But Tommy was an astronaut, so
maybe she had a little crush on him or something.
It seems kind of maybe a little bit, and trauma bonds. So Before Annie can leave in her car, Michael, who hid in the back seat, strangles her and slits her throat, killing her. Soon after, Linda and her boyfriend Bob Sims, again, didn't know Bob had a last name, arrive.
Everybody has a last name, Erica.
You can hit him. It's fine. I support it.
I'm aware, bitch. But what I'm saying is that they don't
say it in the movie.
They do not.
No, and in a lot of movies you'll see in the credits, they just have first names too.
Like literally in the credits for this movie, it doesn't even say Dr. Samuel Loomis. It says Loomis. And then it says Donald Pleasant's names. It does not even say his full name.
Doesn't even say doctor?
Nope, doesn't say nothing. Just says Loomis.
The doctor's implied.
As it should be. He only went to school for X amount of years. Let's just drop it and let it be implied. So before Annie can leave in her car, Michael hid in the backseat, strangles her, slits her throat, killing her, blah, blah, blah. Soon after, Linda and her boyfriend Bob Sims arrive at the Wallace house. After having sex, if you pay attention, literally Bob is perpendicular and Linda's legs are straight and closed. There is no sex.
I love that position.
So comfy.
I believe it is called the Geometer.
You want to keep trying till you get to a funny one? Okay.
Nope. I got to laugh on the first one. That's funny to me.
It was a sympathy laugh. So after having sex, and by the way, Bob is a little bitch during sex, just FYI.
Why?
He can't keep his concentration because the phone keeps ringing. True,
What?
man.
You ain't paying attention to the phone.
Let's all go to the lobby. Let's all go to the lobby. Let's all go to the lobby to get ourselves a treat.
But yeah, so Bob's a bitch. He can't handle a phone call during sex, and he can't even find the hole.
Bitch face Bob.
Yeah, and then he gets really shitty with her after he comes, and he's just like, fucking go get me a beer. And Linda was just like, fuck no, you go get me a beer. So Bob goes and gets her a beer.
That's usually not the first thing I'd want to do afterwards.
Well,
go to the bathroom, a little cleanup.
You don't need all the fucking gory details iterated in front of you. Let's leave some things to magic.
I've been doing it for 20 years. Like, not like very seldomly for 20 years. I don't want to make it sound like I'm just laying pipe on the regular, but still very much like hearing about it.
Seeing about it, knowing all the details about it.
I'm watching pornography right now.
Yeah.
It does not shock.
So you can sit back
Someone's
and go,
asking me about trying to buy a bottle of beer.
Yeah, sit back and go, huh.
Is that what you do?
I wish I could do the Jeff Goldblum laugh better.
I'll just insert it. I'll
Thank
insert
you.
it right here. So Bob goes downstairs to get a beer for Linda and himself, where Michael stabs him to death. This is probably one of the bigger jump scares. I mean, you have Annie, because you don't expect Michael to pop up in the back, and he slices a bitch. And then you have Bob being impaled on a wall with a butcher knife. Now, do you think in the realm of physics that knife could have held up a human body?
Nope.
I don't think so. No.
I'm just saying, he's at least 140 pounds because he's
He'd have
a tall
to drive
dude.
that. I mean, he'd have to drive the knife in pretty fucking deep.
Not only that, but even if the knife was lodged at an angle where it would stick against the wall.
It's just drywall. So.
Right. I still don't think it would hold someone up.
True. Okay. I'm just, I'm not trying to nitpick. I love this movie, but I'm just, some things you got to point out. And Michael does his infamous head tilt there too. The first time you ever see Michael kind of observing what he's
kind of
doing.
like proud of himself.
Which I believe Friday the 13th, 5 or 6, Jason started doing it. I'm pretty sure it was reminiscent of this.
I'm sure they all.
Nope, cut it out. It was when Kane Hodder, he did the shoulder breathing. That was Jason's big thing, and it was like in the later movies.
I ain't cutting shit out because it sounds better when you
fine.
correct it sounds better when
Well,
you're
I know, but I
intelligent
don't
and
want
correct yourself.
Don't come at me, bro. But yeah, no, it was the breathing, the shoulder breathing.
Well, I mean, Friday the 13th is. I mean, even the writer directors of those movies were very, very upfront with saying like, yeah, we're basically copying Halloween in our own way. So, there's going to be homages.
What exactly? And homage is a nice way to put it. But every movie that came after this generally had some homage.
For sure.
I don't want to say all of them, but they all pick off each other. But that's the same thing with anything.
I want to say the only one that I find that didn't, and you have a better knowledge of this than I do, because I think I've only exclusively seen the first one start to finish. Other ones are bits and pieces. Nightmare on Elm Street. Like, I don't see any correlation between that and Michael Myers, except it's a supernatural baddie that won't die.
Nope. Yeah, I mean, they're two very different things.
Yeah,
especially
saying.
with later and Freddy in his one-liners and shit like that. But
yeah, I'm just saying. Where was I? Michael then poses as Bob in a ghost costume and confronts Linda, who teases him to no effect. I got your ghost, Bob. Annoyed, Linda calls Laurie, which, okay. But Michael strangles her to death while with the telephone cord as Laurie picks up. Dan was offended by this mildly.
why?
He said, what friend would call while you're getting plowed?
Yeah, I don't know anybody that's just like, they just call you and all you hear is people fucking. That never happened. I never had that happen. Did that happen to you? Somebody call you and they're just banging?
That's not a butt dial.
No, but did you never call someone and make it sound like you were doing something you weren't, just to fuck with them? Not necessarily that you were, taking the old Ultra D in your big ass V.
I don't think I've ever done that. No.
We used to prank call people a lot. Remember the last time I probably pranked someone? They called back and they're like, "Hey, by the way, we have a number scanner, so I know what your phone number is." And I was like, "Oh shit, dude! It's pre-call ID is when you had to pay for that
star shit. 69 it.
They literally had a box that had your phone number would pop up. And they're like, people prank call us all the time. And I'm like, I just dialed a random number.
Don't tell my mom.
It's fine. We had 2 phone lines, and I got in a lot of trouble once because I used to call a girl I'd like, and I would always say that it was Brian Warner, which is Marilyn Manson's real name, and her dad star 69 and talked to my dad, and I got in trouble.
Darn. Did you go out on a date? No.
Don't even remember her name. I couldn't even tell you that girl's name.
You should.
All that effort, just pew.
It'd be funny if you still knew the phone number and you called.
Nah, man, I drank all that away.
Hilarious, because that wouldn't be really stalkery. I've been holding on to this.
I have cameras. Let's see what she's doing. Saturdays.
I can't handle you tonight. I really cannot. Dear God. So annoyed, Linda calls Laurie, but Michael strangles her to death with the phone cord just as Laurie picks up. Meanwhile, Loomis discovers the stolen car and begins searching the streets with Sheriff Brackett. Now, he's turning it to 11 because he sees that Michael is here, just like he suspected. The two split up, and also, just why wouldn't Loomis correlate the small town that really doesn't have any crimes is all of a sudden it has this break-in, a mask is missing, and a knife. That's it. And some rope, all of which Michael has used before, sans the rope. Like, he likes knives and he likes masks. Why wouldn't you be like,
Why didn't they put that together?
Yeah, why not?
I don't know.
So for some fucking doctor. So the two split up with Brackett covering the back of the block in his patrol car and Loomis watching the front. Suspicious, Laurie goes over to the Wallace house and finds the bodies of Annie, Bob, and Linda. She finds Annie sprawled out on the bed with Judith Myers' headstone at the front. Linda is in the closet, stuffed in the closet, and Bob is somehow suspended in the air and he is like flinging back and forth. It's like a house of horrors right now.
No, he was on the door.
Yeah, but like, how was he like going back and forth like he was swinging?
She opened the door.
I still don't get it.
He opened the door. He's on top of it.
Still don't make sense. But all right.
Story checks out.
Laurie cowers back into the hallway where Michael suddenly appears and attacks her, causing Laurie to fall backwards on the staircase. An injured Laurie manages to escape from Michael and flee back to the Doyle house. Now, this bitch is screaming bloody murder and not one person. Now, this is when I was talking about the town that dreaded sundown last week. This was the scene that when the one girl was running from the house after she got shot in the face, I believe. This was reminiscent of that scene to me because, I mean, obviously I'd seen Halloween first and I'd gone back and seen The Town That Dreaded Sundown. These scenes, I felt a parallel between them. I don't know if one inspired the other, but they did look very, very similar to one another, of Laurie freaking out and sprawled on the grass and all this other stuff, like the lighting and just the whole tone. But that's just me. I'm looking in deep into it. You guys are just drinking beer.
Tommy Doyle got her back.
Hold
He
on.
opened door.
Yeah, he does. I'm just saying, there was just mild inspiration. So when Lori gets back to the Doyle house, she throws a pot against the window to wake up these bitch-ass kids.
That was a pretty good fucking throw.
I know, you're so impressed by this throw.
Because she freaking threw that thing like 40 feet in the air.
It's called adrenaline, Daniel. First of all, if a man with a big knife is chasing me, I'm not stopping.
You're just going to keep on running.
That's the thing. Listen, I love Halloween. I love Laurie Strode. I love that character. Not Resurrection. But she always backs herself into a corner. Don't go in the house. She orders the children to lock themselves in the closet upstairs, manages to fend off Michael by stabbing him with a knitting needle in the neck. Bam. Which honestly, that's all you would have to do for me to be like, I'm done. I don't care. I don't care enough to fucking try to kill this bitch.
That's gotta hurt.
Yeah, man. In the neck?
Yeah. It went like halfway in too.
Ugh.
So could have went out the other side. We don't know.
With Michael incapacitated, she quickly goes upstairs to check on the children. Michael reawakens and chases Laurie upstairs, where she attempts to hide in the bedroom closet. Now, this is probably the most infamous scene of the movie, amongst others. She fastens a wire coat hanger into a makeshift weapon and stabs Michael when he breaks through the door, causing him to drop his knife. Do you think that a wire hanger could
poke you in the eye?
Stab someone?
I thought did she poke him in the eye?
She pokes him in the eye.
Yeah, that's gonna fucking hurt.
Yeah, I don't think there's a whole lot to your eye to be able to get through like an old 1970s coat hanger.
True.
Yeah.
That thing is. But yeah, so I don't know about the tenacity of a hanger, but I know a tenacity of a knife. And Laurie picks up the knife and stabs him in the chest. And he's still going though. He's still going. I'm done after getting stabbed one time. So she retrieves the knife and stabs him, seemingly killing him. She hurries to the children's hiding place and tells them to run down the street to a neighbor and call the police. She actually states, go down the street to the Mackenzies. And then later in Scream, Casey Becker's father says the same thing to her, to his wife, when they're looking for their daughter, to go down the street to the Mackenzies as an homage to Halloween. And then, to go even deeper, Halloween H2O, if you follow that storyline, Laurie tells her son and his girlfriend, when they are trying to escape from the horrors of Michael Myers, to go down to the Becker's house, in reference back to Scream, which Kevin Williamson wrote both H2O and Scream.
That's genius.
I digress. It's just cute little additives, fucko. God.
That's pretty cool, though.
I have a lot of these tidbits. So Loomis sees Tommy and Lindsay fleeing the house and goes to investigate. As Laurie begins to walk out to safety, Michael recovers and begins to strangle Laurie, who rips off his mask during the struggle. Momentarily shocked, he recovers and replaces his mask, giving Loomis an opportunity to shoot Michael 6 times and knock him over the balcony, apparently killing him. Loomis walks over to look over the balcony, but finds Michael is gone. Unsurprised, he stares off into the night as Laurie begins to sob. The film ends with Michael's breathing audible over a montage of locations in Haddonfield, indicating that he could be anywhere. Now, before I even touch on anything else, I have one thing I want to touch on at the end of this film. So, after he shoots Michael, he goes over the balcony. Laurie has her hands over her ears because I'm assuming that the gun is very loud. She says, "What's the boogeyman?" Daniel believes that she says, "It was the boogeyman." The subtitles...
No, you asked.
I asked you what you heard, and you said, "It sounds to me that she said it was the boogeyman."
That's what I thought I heard, yes.
To me, it always has sounded like she says, "What's the boogeyman?" paralleling the conversation she has with Tommy Doyle earlier when he asks her, "What's the boogeyman?" The subtitles say, "Was that the boogeyman?" Matt, I know you don't have an opinion because you don't give a shit, but...
Was it the boogeyman?
Because I know where you stand.
Whatever Erika said is what I believe.
Smart man.
That's how I live my life.
The fuck you do.
Mm-hmm.
I know I'm like thinking real deep into this, but I don't know. It bugs me that I cannot get a definitive answer of what the fuck she says, because Loomis's response is, yes, as a matter of fact, it was. So if she says, "What's the boogeyman?" that doesn't make sense. If she says, "It was the boogeyman," makes more sense.
Well, do they have, don't they have the subtitles for this? So
damn, we put the fucking subtitles on last night.
what about its script?
Did you really?
They have
I put it on because I was talking. I had this same conversation with him when we were watching it. I was like, "What do you hear?" I was like, "I don't know why I can't fucking get off this horse, but like it just bugs me because I think it would be a really cool parallel if she says, 'What's the boogeyman?'"
Did they have a script or anything?
Of course, they had a script.
You can check it.
I mean, I could try, but you know. Yeah, I'm not doing that. I'm not doing that.
Yeah,
I don't care that. I don't care that much.
Is that your favorite quote of the movie?
Well, if it's what I think it is, but then the follow-up line doesn't make sense. Listen, I'm only saying this because I want, our 13 listeners in Turkey to tell me.
I thought we had 15 in Turkey.
Oh, I'm sorry if I forgot 2 of you.
So what is your favorite line of this movie?
Well, before I get into that, I just I want to hear like what other people think. Like as hardcore fans of the genre, if you're a fan of the Halloween franchise and Michael Myers is your boy, I want to know what you think too, because like I've always had this argument with people, not argument, but discussion with people about like, what do you think the last line is, like that she says? Because I think it could mean a lot of different things depending on what it actually is or what you interpret it to mean. So yeah, I'm just curious what other people think. So please let me know.
She said, "Was that my brother?"
My favorite line, I do enjoy the speech that Loomis gives about, how he has the blackest eyes, the devil's eyes.
That's my favorite.
Well, no, I'm not trying to take it from you. You can have the same favorite, Daniel. Jesus.
Damn, Daniel.
Damn, Daniel. No, I don't know if I have a favorite line. I know I'm sure.
What about what the heck's the Annie's favorite word?
Fuck.
Annie's favorite word. What does that mean?
No, you always say that the way that she says that word.
What word?
I forget what the fucking word is.
Well, then I don't know what you're talking about. Yeah, and stop smacking your leg like you're annoyed with me. I can't read your mind all the time.
I'm annoyed with her too, and I'm not smacking my leg.
Matt, I'm assuming you don't have a favorite line.
No, there's when I think back, there's not a single line that stands out to me, and that's not a bad thing. It just
no, it's not. He just likes the heavy breathing of Michael.
That's his favorite.
I achieve erection when Michael breathes heavily.
Don't we all? I'm trying to think of what fucking word. No, Daniel, you're thinking of Scream. When Neve Campbell says sorry.
No.
I get all excited because she's very Canadian, so she says sorry. It's the only time you can really hear her Canadaism.
No, it might be Lindsay. It says
totally.
That's it. All the time.
I mean, that's not my favorite line, but I do make fun of her.
Yeah,
I don't
you're
know.
always saying it. You're like totally.
She
says it like
that's another scene that's added in the TV version that actually reminded me. So I'm glad you brought it up. So like I said, there's like the interactions with Michael as a kid, and then the hearing, the sister on the wall, and then there's a weird scene where Lori is taking a shower after school. She opens the door to find, and like she hears kind of creaks in her house. So she's very skittish after seeing, Michael in her backyard. And Linda comes over and asks to borrow a blouse. And Lori's just like, well, I haven't even worn it yet. I got it on my birthday. It's a silk blouse. She's like, I totally won't mess it up. Don't worry about it. And Annie calls to like verify something else with Lori. And actually, Jamie Lee Curtis is wearing a towel on her head, and you can tell that her hair is a different color. It's like a dark brown because she had shaved her head down by this point, because I don't think they filmed these scenes until 1981 when they did Halloween 2, because she really wasn't jazzed about doing horror movies anymore at this point. But yeah, they just added the whole blouse thing. I don't know what that had to do with anything. I think they just needed more time. But then you have Linda in the original cut getting mad at Bob because he was ripping at her blouse, because she's like, don't do that. It's expensive, you idiot. It's just, but like that was already always in the original movie. So they added that scene to make it Lori's,
more significant.
I guess Lori's blouse. I don't know why, but that just reminded me. That was the last scene that they added. It just didn't, it was weird additives. But actually, before we get into questions of the damn, I do have one final question for the pair of you. So in the Halloween franchise, you have multiple timelines. You have the Halloween 1, 2, H2O Resurrection timeline. You have the 1, 2, 4, 5, 6 timeline. The one Halloween 2018. Do you have a favorite timeline? Do you like all the timelines? Does it really matter to you? Matt, what do you think?
It's a tough one. I really like Busta Rhymes.
Trick or treat, motherfucker.
There's so much of me that just really prefers to suspend disbelief with the actual like storylines that a lot of these movies put in place.
Yeah.
And it's like I just want to enjoy them all. I don't really fucking care what order or what canon is for each set of films. And this is transcending Halloween. This is everything. So it's like I don't really give a shit if, Laurie is Michael's brother or, their sister wives or whatever the fuck. Like I want to watch all these movies and I just want to enjoy them. And I don't really give a shit what the actual storyline is.
No, were you one of those people, like one of those dude bros that got real pissed when they did the, not reboot, but the recalibration of a story so they could kind of continue on a different, without making, because by the time they reach Halloween 2018 and that storyline, and you look back at all, previous, 7 or 8 movies, not counting Rob Zombie, no offense, Rob.
Well, they weren't good, so it's fine.
They were not. I actually did go back and watch those like last year. I watched the first one and I was like, all right, I get that.
I hated the first one less. The second one, I refused to go back and rewatch.
But yeah, what I was trying to say is like by the time Danny McBride and David Gordon Green, get to their version of Halloween, it's kind of hard to take the storyline that you already have where you have this supernatural being that gets shot in both eyeballs, who's set on fire, who's shot multiple times, stabbed in the neck, seemingly had his head chopped off, just kind of every single possible thing. The man has had more bullets put into him than just fucking goddamn
Has he been in
target
space?
sheet. No, he has not been in space, though they did want to do a Michael Myers versus Hellraiser, or Pinhead rather, crossover, but they did Freddy versus Jason instead.
Yeah, but they also wanted to do, there was a Freddy versus Jason versus Ash, which I think was a comic book.
That would be fun.
But that's the thing, is like, how do you, it's a whole nother discussion of how you integrate all of these.
It is. So that's why, I don't have I'm one of the very, well, I don't think I'm the very few, but I'm one of the people that does not have an issue at all with a recalibration of a story, because I don't mind that they took out the fact that it wasn't her fucking brother. I think I liked the little hat tips to those jokes, saying oh, wasn't that guy her brother? No, that's just some bullshit people make up to make it more of a story, and how they dived more deeper into her PTSD and all that stuff. And we'll eventually probably watch and talk about those movies inevitably, but they just I watch all the Halloween movies apart from Season of the Witch. I just don't, but I enjoy them all for what they are, so I personally don't have any issue with the multiple storylines.
So I know Dan, you didn't get to talk about your take on it yet, but a movie is very much a point in time, as is music.
Yeah.
So you think about the fact of what music was in 2000 as to what it is now. And movies are the same way. So when they take a movie that the franchise transcends both portions of time, they're trying to reevaluate it so they're trying to rework it to work into both time frames, and it doesn't always work.
Mm-hmm.
So I think what they're banking on are the people like me who just don't care and are willing to take it at face value for what it was 20 years ago and what it is now.
Yeah.
And
you have just reached nirvana. Matt has gone in flame. What about you, Dan? Do you care, or are you just here for the ride?
I don't care. I do like my favorite ones so far are the first one and the latest one.
Boom.
But like you said, there's a few in between that aren't that great, but we're still gonna watch them
for sure. Halloween H2O is one of my favorite movies to watch around Halloween. I fucking love that movie. I don't know why. It's not necessarily good. It has a lot of issues.
To me, the middle ones, you're rooting on Michael Myers more than to me. That's what I when I watch.
You like 4 and 5 a lot.
When I watch them, I'm waiting for those people to get taken out. And the latest one, I want him to die. But that's just how I watch it.
I get you. All right, we have babbled a lot, so let's get to questions of the damned.
Did we start recording yet?
All right, Matt, you get the first question. What song is playing on the radio when Laurie and Annie are driving to go babysit? Sweet Home Alabama by Leonard Skinner, Don't Fear the Reaper, Blue Oyster Cult, or Go Your Own Way, Fleetwood Mac?
Fuck. I have no idea. You can go your own way. Let's go with that.
That one?
Yeah, it's not right, but that's what I thought.
Daniel?
Don't Fear the Reaper.
Is it really? Okay. I never noticed what song was actually being played.
Mm-hmm.
That was a good question. I'm impressed.
Thank you. I've been waiting to do that one.
Yeah, well,
So Daniel,
about time.
the original script did not have the title of Halloween. What was this movie called in the beginning? The Babysitter Murders, Trick or Treat, or The Shape?
The Babysitter.
Fuck! God damn it, I knew that one too.
Oh boy. All right, Matthew. How did John Carpenter come up with the idea for this film? Was it after he toured a psych ward, he dreamed it, or he stole it from a Stephen King novel?
Toured a psych ward. Second.
Suck a duck. All right, Daniel.
Yep.
Who has stated that turning down the role of Dr. Loomis was one of his biggest career regrets? Christopher Lee, who played Sauron in Lord of the Rings, Peter Cushing, who played a guy in Star Wars, or Vincent Price, which you should know who that is. So, Sauron, Star Wars, Vincent Price.
I'll go with Sauron.
Fucking fuck, I knew that one too.
Nice job, Daniel.
Damn, Daniel.
All right, Matt.
Does any of this matter anymore?
Nope. How much was Jamie Lee Curtis paid to portray the role of Laurie Strode? $4,000, $8,000, or $12,000?
It's like 4,000. No.
Daniel? 4, 8, 12.
12.
Yeah, I knew it wasn't a lot. So
She was only paid $8,000. Wow, Daniel.
Damn, Daniel.
Damn, Daniel. Proud of you. You coming back.
Call to come back.
I've been here for years.
All right, now that we are done questions of the damned, we're going to go to the next segment, which is, as you know, yay, nay, or slay. I think you know what we're all going to say. If you don't yay this movie, I don't like to judge anybody by their taste, but I don't think I've ever met a person who liked horror and did not like horror, Halloween 1978. So this gets a yay from me. I watch it all year round. It's background noise for a lot of things. I love this movie. I think it's a great movie. I love all the movies. I love the franchise itself. So yeah, it's a yay for me. Daniel?
It's yay.
Yay. Is that it? That's all you got?
That's all I got.
I really want to say no, but yeah, it's a yay.
Oh my God. Don't ruin it. It's a triple yay.
It's a yay times 3 in this motherfucker.
Yeah, we all love this movie. I mean, we rambled a lot about a lot of random stuff, but we do genuinely enjoy this movie. Just a quick reminder that this is coming out the Monday before Halloween, and you guys get to get a bonus episode on Halloween, which
listen up.
You'll get to just keep an eye out for when that comes out. I think you're gonna really enjoy that as well. But yeah, you get a double dose of Halloween spookiness this week. I hope that you enjoy it. But yeah, I think did you guys want to add anything about like your feelings on the movie? I think we pretty much covered everything.
Smoke, crack, and worship Satan, kids.
Happy Halloween.
Yeah, absolutely. Happy Halloween. Thank you so much for listening. See you on the next one, and check out our Halloween special that's coming out in a few days. Bye.
What's the boogeyman?
As a matter of fact, it was.